guys, welcome to Chicks with Sticks. Today we're going to be covering how you can make your own DIY drum pad from scratch. Regular drum pads are nice and easy to buy from Amazon, but they're super expensive, anywhere from $30 to $80. If you don't have that much money to drop on a drum pad, that's okay. Today we're going to make them from scratch. I'm building mine so that I can use them for the class that I'm running, but if you're not building a class, this is easy to do just for yourself. So starting off with materials. These are super easy to find, super versatile. You can use basically anything. The first thing you'll need is something hard. I'm using these thin wooden sheets, but you can use anything. Regular drum pads tend to be about a ½ inch thick, but it's okay to go thin too. You can use a clipboard, or if you're feeling especially vengeful, maybe the cover of an old textbook. But any thickness of wood, or even maybe something metal or plastic could work too, depending on what you're working with. The next thing you'll need is something bouncy. I'm using a yoga mat. I would recommend something made of rubber. So maybe an old rubber mat you have lying around. I'm using this yoga mat. You can buy one for anywhere from like $10 to $20 on Amazon, and you can get a lot out of them. This one will make at least 10 pads. And then the last thing you'll need is just something to attach your rubber to your wood. So I'm using hot glue, but you can also use duct tape, packing tape, anything that'll work. I'll show you two types of pads today. The first I'll show you is with a wooden sheet and the pieces of yoga mat using hot glue to hold it together. And then I'll also show you one made with more ramshackle ingredients like a clipboard and duct tape. It's super easy and super fun. So let's get into it.
Starting off, gather your materials. Then measure your hard surface and write down the measurement on a piece of paper. From there, measure your mat so you know how long it is, and mark the spot that you want to cut with a Sharpie or a pencil. I measured my piece of wood at 12 inches, so I divided my 24-inch mat in half and cut it straight down the middle. If your mat is like mine and has grid lines, you can follow those grid lines to have a straight line, but if you don't, you can draw a line with a pencil. Then line up your hard surface to your mat to make sure that it's the right length. Cut off the end, that way you have a perfect square, and from there, you can trim off any excess material. For my pad, I wanted about a ½ inch of wood showing on each side, so I cut my mat to 11 inches instead of the wood's dimensions of 12 inches. However, if you don't want your hard surface to show and you don't want any extra, just cut it so it fits perfectly. Now you're ready to attach your mat to your pad. I used hot glue in this clip, but if you want to see it with packing tape, you can cut to the timestamp below. When using hot glue, you want to go one line at a time to ensure that your hot glue doesn't set before your mat is ready. To do this, you just draw a line with hot glue, set down your mat, and press down hard to make sure it sticks. Again, make sure you press down super hard to make sure that it sticks. Now that your mat is attached, you're ready to play. To showcase how versatile this process is, I thought I would show it on this old clipboard I had lying around, to show that you can really use any object. Use the same process I showed before, doing a line of hot glue, setting down your mat, and pressing down hard to make sure it sticks. I thought a clipboard was a really interesting concept because it's perfectly functional as a clipboard, but when you flip it over, you can drum on it. I thought this was a really interesting concept, and I'd love to see you all try something similar, taking an everyday object and giving it a second use of drumming. And here's the finished product. I also wanted to show you guys that if you don't have a hot glue gun, it's no problem. Here I am using packing tape, although you could use duct tape as well, to finish off a drum pad. I measured my mat and my wood here to be the exact same length. Then I lined up a piece of packing tape to be a little bit longer, folded over the sides, and then folded over the long end. I repeated this same process on all 4 sides, trying to minimize the amount of air between the mat and the pad. Definitely try and keep your mat straight on your pad rather than forming any air bubbles, because those air bubbles will kind of impact its performance later. However, this tape pad is just as effective as a hot glue pad. You can use duct tape, packing tape, and it plays just like normal. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a great time making your own drum pad with this method. Be sure to subscribe and check out the other lessons on our YouTube channel. We have comprehensive guides to bucket drumming, teaching bucket drumming, and other tips and tricks. Also, Chicks with Sticks works tirelessly every day to address the gender inequality in music. If you want to support our mission, check out our webpage, link in bio, to read blog posts and access resources that are free to use and can help you fight our mission. Thank you so much again for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. And as always, keep on drumming.